A lot of people have trouble with remembering the direction of the force of something moving in circular motion. The rule is pretty simple. If it's moving in a circle, there's always an inward net force along the radial axis. But even though we learn that rule, we practice that rule, people still occasionally think there's an outward force, which is sometimes called the centrifugal force. It's not really there, but let me do a demonstration that would almost make you think otherwise. Got a bucket. Got some water. This is a pretty full bucket. Tip a little bit out. But despite that, I'm willing to swing it in a circle over my head. And obviously I did not get wet. So what direction were the forces on me here? Believe it or not, inward. The most obvious force, of course, would be the force of gravity on the water. But the other force comes from the fact that this water is moving in a circle, and it would prefer to be moving in a straight line path. It's an object in motion. It wants to stay in motion. And what that means is it's getting pressed on by the bottom of the bucket. A normal force is being put on the water, and that's holding it in the circle. These are downward forces, so it almost looks like I should have gotten wet there. Why didn't I? Because we have to remember the direction that the water would travel if the bucket were to suddenly vanish. It's an object in motion. It wants to keep going that way. Because gravity exists, it's going to move in a parabola, kind of like that marker. And it's going to follow this kind of path. Well, notice that that path is outside the circle of where I'm swinging the bucket. So by the time the water would get to here, the bucket's already in this place and it's trapping it. If it was going to be here, the bucket has already swung it into a different location. So it's not any force that's keeping the water up. There's no outward force. It's just that because the water is moving so fast to the side, it can't fall directly on me. And by the time it starts to fall, the bucket is already turned. So it sounds convincing when you look at the forces, but when you're swinging the bucket of water over your head, you really do feel like the water's being held up by something. Nothing's holding it up. It's just its inertia.